Welcome to Never Too Late to Learn. And today we're going to talk about the 3 reasons why you should be shooting with film. Yes, you should shoot with film. I know, it's old, but you should do it. The first reason you should probably be shooting with film is one of the primary reasons why I wanted to learn that skill and start back shooting with film with my camera. It's because film produces images and prints that in some cases you can't recreate with digital. So without getting too technical, when you start dealing with grains and noise and things of that nature when comparing film, which I'll refer to as analog, versus the digital cameras we use now, when you dig down into they're not pixels in film. We more look at them as grains. But when you dig down to the grains and compare them to pixels, your grains are nice round circles. Your pixels are normally little squares. And so because of that, even when you have mistakes in both, a lot of times those circles and the way film develops and the way the light resolves onto film makes it even mistakes look nicer. So a lot of the accidents that we hear in analog kind of sound nice. Some of the things that many would consider accidents in digital actually give more character to analog mediums like film and vinyl. So if you're in a situation where you're pushing your ISO maybe too high and you're starting to get some noise in there, the noise even looks better on film. I mean, if you compare them side by side, a film picture and a digital picture, I would almost say, and it's similar to how I feel about some digital audio recordings, the digital is almost too perfect. It's like it's so perfect that it doesn't feel real. So one of the top reasons I start looking at shooting with film is that the film felt more natural. I can capture the same image in a digital camera, and I can even capture some of the feeling that I want to portray in that image. But there's something about film where, because of how the light reacts with the filaments and the gigawatts and whatever, I know I'm messing this up, it just produces images that I don't think can really compare to digital. I think they're nicer. I've even heard some photographers say that it's not fine art photography if it's digital. Whereas some of your top fine art photographers, they would go through, take the picture, develop them in a dark room, maybe print 250 manually, and then destroy the negative, and you can never get that exact image again. Whereas with digital, you take it on your camera, it's there, it's always going to be there unless you lose it. So there's the ability to reproduce the exact same thing over again adds extra little value to it, and that's something that I really like about film. Second reason why you need to be shooting with film. Film will slow you down. And what I mean by that is because of the overall process of shooting with film, meaning purchasing the film, taking your 24 to 36 shots, taking that film to a film processor, paying your $18 to $24 to process that film, waiting a week for it to come back, and then viewing your pictures to see the amazing shots you took. That really long process will force you to think more about what you're shooting up front. And this one will definitely make you a much better photographer. So when I go out and I have my roll of Kodak's, Trimax, or whatever film I'm using, for each frame I sit down and I think through exactly what I want to shoot. I pay attention to my subject. I pay attention to my surroundings. I'll walk around and I'll do some light metering of my subject and things around it. Sometimes I trust the metering in the camera. Sometimes I don't. But because in the back of my mind, I know it's going to cost me about $24 for each roll. I'm not wasting a single frame. Now, in stark contrast, um, when I was shooting with my 7D or maybe my 6D, and it's a situation, maybe an action situation, or even if I'm just shooting a family out in the park, I will set it to whatever the highest speed is for shooting, hold my finger on the trigger, let it fire as 5, 6, 7, 8 frames per second, whichever the camera allows, and just take all the pictures. Because I know when I get home, I can get in a Lightroom and I can scrap the ones I don't want. And so what that does is that reduces the thinking on the front end. So one thing I've noticed since I've started shooting with film is that even when I go to my digital camera, I shoot less because I take more time on the front end to figure out exactly how I want to compose the shot, what I want to capture in the shot, because my habits are starting to, my habits from shooting film are starting to melt over into shooting digital. So I slow down, I make sure I'm composing my picture correctly, I make sure my exposure is correct. I don't, because I can't take a picture, look at it, then adjust. I have to do external metering, check everything, look at the skin tone of the person I'm shooting. If they're between this skin tone range, let's say that if I'm shooting a darker tone person, I may raise it a stop or two, let in a little bit more light to be safe because I'm shooting on film. I only have this one time to catch it. I can't come back to this. So if I'm shooting a person with darker tone skin, I may change my exposure and raise it, a third of a stop or a half stop to let a little more light in because I only have this one time to capture this image. This is film. I can't come back. I can't ask the person to come back another day. And if I do, it's not going to be the same. So you really only got one shot to get that frame correctly. So it forces you to slow down and pay attention to what you're shooting. Another great piece of this, and a lot of times I shoot most of my film on family vacations, because I have to take my time and really focus on the subjects or the areas I'm shooting, I only shoot things I really care about with film. So that, and what ends up happening is the pictures you take with film mean more to you because you are investing so much of yourself and your time and your effort into getting that image correctly. Some of my favorite pictures of my wife and Dora I've shot with film. Even some things like these turntables and speakers behind me, when I've set up and we're practicing taking pictures, I did it with film because these are things I like and care about, and I like how it will be rendered in film. So once you start shooting film, you're going to start shooting things that are a lot more personal to you. If you're a photographer and you take pictures of your family, I think you should look at shooting your family in film, and trust me, you'll like the results and they'll mean a lot more to you. The third reason why you should be shooting film is humbling. I repeat, film is humbling. So like I mentioned, you go on vacation or you go out to a family event and you have your 3 or 4 rolls of 36 frame film. You go and you have fun and you're just taking pictures and shooting away and not really paying attention because you're so comfortable using your digital camera. You pay your $22 a roll to get it processed and placed on a CD, and when you get it, you realize that all of your pictures are crap because you weren't paying attention to what you're doing. I don't care what level of photographer you are, when you shoot a roll of film, process it, and get it back, and it's not what you think it should be, it is humbling. Film will humble you. Film will make you go back to the basics. We'll take you back to the number 2 reason why I said you should be shooting film. It will make you slow down, make you really think about what you're doing, and it'll make you respect the fundamentals. Film makes you go back to the fundamentals. And to me, that's the best reason to shoot. I can guarantee the better you are at shooting film, the better you will be at shooting digital. Because most of what you learn from shooting film, you can transition to shooting digital. And the most important things that you're going to learn from shooting film, you can definitely transition to shooting digital. Whether you're shooting film in studio, whether you're shooting film outside, when you get those results, the mistakes that you made will be ingrained in you forever. And whether you're shooting with a film camera or you're shooting with a digital camera, you will not make those mistakes again. So again, the 3 reasons why you should be shooting film. 1, produces amazing images that you can't always recreate with digital cameras. 2, it forces you to slow down and focus on what you're shooting and makes you better with the fundamentals of shooting photography. And 3, it's humbling. And every so often, we all need to be humbled. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video and you want to see more, please click subscribe. If you like the video, give me a thumbs up. If not, I guess you can give me a thumbs down. I really appreciate you stopping by. Please leave comments. I'll try to respond to them. Hope you have a wonderful day. Don't forget, it's never too late to learn. You got to get out there and do something. Make it happen.